Okay, so next thing for shaping the body is we're going to need to find the center right here where these two edges are poking out, right? So that's between this part that we sunk in and this one, right? Gonna just open this and we're going to try to flatten it as close to that line as possible, right? You want a little gap right here just so that there's room when you squish it back over like that, right? So we just open it up, squish this inside, brought this back forward, right? So do the same to all of these. Open it up, bring it down to the center, just like that. Bring it back forward. This paper is going to start getting very tight up here. You can see it's very wrinkled. That will be perfectly fine though. That is not the center. Oops. This is, okay. Squish that down. Bring this forward, right? On occasion, if it's very tight, you'll see this little crease form here. That's perfectly fine. Our wings are going to cover it, right? Okay. Last corner. Alrighty, so let's see, I'm going to bring this neck back a little bit more. Just tuck it inside. No, whatever, that's fine. Okay, so now we have a little bit of a better shape, right? You can kind of see it coming along. From here on, it's way more just about shaping to taste than anything, but I will show you how I do the wings that I do. Try these, right? It's a little bit hard to see the detail on this black one. My lighting is bad, but you know, even on smaller ones, you can get some pretty decent detail on there. This one doesn't have the ridges of the wing, so it's just kind of a zigzag. I tried, but you know, there's better, let's say. So the way I start the wings is I actually fold it down and then I fold this point to the initial crease, just like that. So this is going to be our first ridge, right? Then we're going to make a second one that's going to go from this line to this line that we just made, right? We're going to do it here. You can actually go a little bit past. I like to do that just because we are going to make a piece that goes here, right? And this is going to be, you know, shortening the length of this. So I go a little bit past, right? It's not directly on there, it's just barely past it, right? And then we're going to do one from this same point that these two are both coming from to this point right here, just like that. So it's this corner to the point where these three are connecting to. So next, I'm going to start defining these a little bit. Right, so we're going to pull it up and pinch and make kind of a little ridge like that, right? So now, same thing here, right? Make sure they meet up at this point. Kind of wrinkled that one a little. Same. All right, something like that, right? All I did was I grabbed these and I just pinch them and fold them both directions like that so that I can get them to become ridges, right? Now we're going to take this whole front piece right here. I'm going to fold it all the way forward, just like that, right? So these are going to make kind of like 4 fingers, right? Think of it like a bat wing, right? Got the little thumb here. We're going to have our 4 fingers be splayed out on here, right? Now for this part, I actually take this little corner square right here and I fold this back, right? Sometimes I'll even bring this whole thing back right here, just like this, right? Up to this point, right? So now we have a flat line. And then kind of following this line, we're going to bring it back down. So we're going to fold a ridge that's right along the edge of this, like that. And then we're going to go up to here. You're going to see the wing naturally curve forward like this, right? This is what we want, right? We want it to curve forward to make the little elbow. So we're forming this kind of like a human bone structure would be. It's a little awkward, but yeah, now we're going to pinch. And we're going to curve this in to make the little thumb piece. So now we got our 4 little fingers and a thumb that go into the ridges of the wing like that, right? Use the elbow. So next, just to give it some more definition, I'm getting these little edges between the ridges of these little bones or whatever they are. I'm just gonna pull them in like that, right? So I'm getting my finger and I'm just pushing like this. It should almost naturally end off right here, right? We're gonna do the same for this last part. Which actually, you can also fold this edge right here into if that bothers you at all. Just like this. And so for this last one, I can also make the curve a little bit extreme, just like that, so that we can give our wing a little bit more shape. There you go. It's a pretty detailed wing, I think. And so next thing is to do this to the other side. So I showed the process here. You can go back on the video to check how to do it. Yeah. Alrighty, so I got this wing done. I like to press them forward like this, just to get them to fall into shape a lot better. So now, for the head, what I like to do is I like to start by around the halfway point, just kind of folding this down like that. Again, make sure to put a lot of pressure on this. I'm going to use my knuckles to squeeze that down all the way, because we're going to be kind of inverting all of these. So now, hopefully without ripping it, we can open up all of these layers, right? So along that fold that we made, kind of just flatten it like this, right? So now we're going to find our center line straight to the middle. We're going to pinch them all together like that, right? So should have kind of a weird shape like this, but I'm sure you can see where this is going. So we're going to bring this back up. And this part is very hard to, I guess, replicate every time. All the dragon heads that I've made are always very different. So you can kind of see the shape of this. Hang on. So the most important thing is just, you want to keep this triangle, figure a way to push these in so that you can have a face here, and then you can pull these out for the horns, right? So a lot of it now is just shaping. So for the horns, I like to just kind of crease these back like this, right? And then I always fold this center part in like that. Bring the face down. Yeah, so this part's going to be very up to you. Sometimes you can even make an S like this, and then when you fold it all together, it'll have a little mouth. It's like sculpting. So you can kind of see my head is very squished, but at this scale, that's fine. So yeah, this little lip, it was folded down, brought back up for a mouth. All of the little zigzags were just kind of pulled out, pinched, and then twisted back for the horns. Right, they can make out the face a little better. So for the tail, I always like to give it a little arrow tip. So what I do is I open this up the exact same way and then put my finger under and squish it back like that. So I'm pressing my thumb and my finger and then bringing this back to its shape. And then I just bring these sides here, pull it forward. And now he has an arrow on his tail, right? So you can kind of curve this however you want. Another thing too is this is going to be part of the legs. So if you really want to add claws, then all of these layers are still going to be kind of the answer to that. So I'm going to bring these down, right? So you see how this is completely opened up. Going to crease all of these here, just like that. Sorry, can't see. Just like that, right? So all that I did was I opened this up and I folded this down and then I creased these back. So now you're going to take this end, you're going to pull it and then pinch this inside, just like that. You're going to take this end, pull it, and pinch this back inside, just like that. So now, there's 3 little fingers, right? Those were just these little edges like this, right? In the case, maybe I didn't film it properly, right? Pull the edge, push it in like that, right? So you repeat that for all the other legs, and you'll get little toes. One thing to remember with this is that these feet in the back here are facing the opposite direction. So when you're doing it like this, right, you got to remember that these folds are going to all point inwards. Like that. Now if I can grab the side, right, and then just push this in. Do the same here. Grab this, push it in like that, and there's 3 more fingers. Alright, last one. Okay, so now we have everything all brought out, right? Time to do some more shaping. So for these front legs, I always pinch like this, right? So what I'm doing is I'm kind of curving it like this, right? So on the inside right here, it's a little scoop. On this side, it's more rounded, right? And you can actually bring this up to where the shoulder is and just push like that. And so when I say it's like clay, that's because we are doing a lot of pushing and wrinkling of the paper. So right here, I'm gonna bend this forward, right? And we're gonna kind of give the illusion that the arm is, you know, a lot longer than what it actually is, because this is gonna be the elbow, right? Then this is gonna be the hand, and then this is gonna be like the shoulder up here, right? So it's gonna kind of give an illusion like it's this long, when in reality the arm is only down here, right? So now, take all these little fingers, and pull them out, just pinch them down, right, in all directions, so you can get a good shape like this. Just like that. And then, I'm gonna kind of pull them forward, and then I like to, on all of my models of these dragons, always have one arm that's coming forward like it's gonna claw at something. Like that. See, it's a little bit hard to make out, but you see where I'm going with this. So, kind of like in this one, right? This guy's foot, one of them right here is going the other direction, right? These legs come back here. There's his elbow and his hand, right? Same thing here. This one's coming forward like this. Normally I would bring them up and make it kind of like, you know, he has his arm up for something, but yeah. So I'm doing the same here. You don't have to do this. You can bend the hand the other way and have it flat on the ground if you'd like. But that is just what I like to do. So I'm going to do the same here for this front arm. I'm going to push like that, and just, you're going to get this from being straight to just kind of crushing it in like that, right? So this also kind of rounds out the body a little bit too. So now I'm going to pinch the arm, right? Bring his little elbow forward, just like that. Gonna get these fingers, I'm gonna pinch them all. Just like that. There we go. Okay. Gonna bring his hand out here. And hopefully you can define the claws while it's folded forward. This is generally pretty hard to do. It's to get the foot flat and have all the claws sticking out like that. You can also even push the arm the other way like this in case it looks too thick from the front as well. That's what I do. Gonna roll this other arm back in. Like that, see? Now you got both of our front arms done. Now you gotta do the back ones. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat the same process with the back feet, but one thing that you may notice, there we go, is that when I'm making the back feet of this dragon, right, you notice how there's another joint that's on here, right? I'm not sure if it's just a me thing, or maybe because I grew up, you know, reading Wings of Fire and such. I'm pretty sure those dragons also have the same structure of leg. I think it's digitigrade, which is where they walk on their toes, right? There's another one that's for something similar to hooves, and then there is another one that's for something more like human feet, right? We walk with our whole foot down like that. These guys are walking on just their toes. So I repeat the same structure with this. So I squeeze the leg, right? Except this time I bring it back, right? Bring it back this way, and then I add another joint at about where the end of this is, right? So it's kind of flush with it. And then I bend the foot at the end, I guess the toes, right? So now I'm gonna do the same exact thing like that, right? We have this little shape here. I'm gonna bring the foot forward with the claws, right? It's all down to shaping. Alrighty, so after all that hardship for the feet, there we go. We got all 3 toes there on each one of these. Nice. So next up is just the tail. So I like to open up the tail from the middle and kind of pinch down the sides here. Right, so we're making it bow out right here. Right, we're gonna do the same thing here, like that. And in a way, kind of segmenting it. So if you bring parts of it to a turn like this, and then you squeeze down, right, you'll notice how this kind of begins to overlap, and it starts to segment it. So you can keep repeating this, just bending it and squeezing it, bending it and squeezing it, right? Just like this. And it will naturally just create segments. It's not always perfect, right? There's times where, like for example, this one right here sinks inward instead of outward, right? Which is not exactly what we want for this, but it's very fixable. Just open it back up, curve it back out, repeat the process until you can get it right. There we go. Okay. Gonna redefine the little arrow on the tail, spike, whatever it is. And there we go. Check it out. And his little face and his horns. Right? A little twisted up. But that's fine. Right? Got his wings, little feet, his tail with his little spike at the end, right? Pretty cool.